Hi, friends. I'm Pastor David, and this is our Impact Moment. Each week, we're highlighting ways that our congregation is making an impact in the world. Now, a few weeks ago, you may know that a group of about 30 of us gathered and spent the day identifying a set of values that are shared widely across our congregation. We might call them shared values or congregational values. These values represent some of the things that we hold as our highest beliefs about what's most important to us collectively. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've reviewed several of those, and we'll cover all 5 of them eventually. But over the last few weeks, I've talked about serving others and the value of being good stewards of God's creation. And so what about this week? Well, today I want to highlight our value of diversity and inclusion. Now, if you've paid attention to the news recently, you've probably heard a term called DEI. And you may have heard that there's a push to cut DEI out of a number of things, out of schools and agencies and corporations and so on. And we could talk for a while about how DEI was used well or not used well. And I realize there's some arguments on both sides there. But what I want to focus on with you today is what the initials actually stand for. D stands for diversity, E for equity, and I for inclusion. And friends, I'm glad to let you know that our congregation sees these things as being in harmony with our faith in Jesus Christ, as well as the values that we want to uphold. And I'm frankly quite proud to be part of a congregation like that. Let's take a moment to unpack those. The Bible speaks highly of diversity. From cover to cover, we see examples of that. If we begin in creation, look at the way that God created the world. All kinds of diverse creatures on the face of the earth. Just look around at nature. We see diversity everywhere we go. And then we go to the end of the Bible in the book of Revelation. We see an amazing picture of what worship will look like around the throne room of God. Revelation 7:9 tells us, "After this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb." Diversity is a wonderful thing. And then we have equity. Remember, the E stood for equity. Equity is about giving every person equal access to something. Now, to understand why equity is needed, we need to realize that we don't all start at the same place, right? Some people live in places of privilege while others do not. In the Bible, we might look at a story like the people being oppressed in the land of Egypt, and God coming and intervening to lift these people up so that they could be in a better place. That could be an example of equity. Finally, we have the value of inclusion, which is the practice of making people feel welcomed and valued and supported, that they have a place of belonging amongst the group and a place of participation. Of course, this is especially true for people who have historically felt that they've been relegated to the margins of society. Inclusion means that there is a place for people of all cultures, not just whatever the dominant culture is in that place. That there's a place for people of all sexual identities and sexual preferences, for people who are living with disabilities, who need things to be adapted for them so that they can participate too. That's one reason I stood in front of the elevator. What a gift that is for people who can't get up and down the stairs very well. And for people of varying educational and socioeconomic backgrounds. And the list can go on and on. But that's the value of inclusion. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is what that stood for. Now, is one church going to be able to reach every person? No, it's not. But we desire to look more and more like the kingdom of God, which is diverse, which is equitable, which is inclusive of all who seek after God. And so my hope as your pastor is that in the coming years, we can offer opportunities to grow into this value even more as we become more aware, as we become advocates in these areas. And so I want to say thank you, as always, for your support of the ministry here at Worcester United Methodist Church, and may God bless you.